Hello my friends, new video today. This time we're going to be talking about Heroes and Empires and the price development of recent months. Basically, this is going to be a staking update, including my personal opinion on the current project and of course the situation of the sort. So, first of all, token price. It has been going down for quite a while now, and you can pretty much see the downward trend of recent months, which is pretty sad, honestly speaking. You can see the market cap is ridiculous. The circulating supply, in comparison to the current valuation of the project, is very, very small. However, um, it's not that I would say it's undervalued, it's actually quite justified, since right now the game isn't really played, right? You can see if you have a look into the Discord, I've done this in my good, bad, ugly video regarding Heroes and Empires. No one is actually playing the game. It has like 3,000 active daily players. You don't know how much of these are actual real players or bots or whatever. And at the same time, you don't even know if these numbers are really legit or if maybe they're um, made to be looked a bit better than they actually are. So, even if they're real and even if every single one of them was playing the game, 3,000 people daily is just too much of a small number. It may look big to you personally, thinking, oh, 3,000 people per day, that's quite a bit, right? Because when you see these numbers, you may compare them to numbers from like Steam, right? Like when you look at Steam charts and you have like, let me just have a look, Steam charts, and you have a look into the top games, those usually have around 100,000 players, right? That's I mean, at least it's 3% of that, right? It's not 3% is not a lot, but you know it's played, right? But in reality, it's a bit different, right? Because when you see numbers like 3,000, then that's pretty much the total numbers of players at that day and the entire day. So it's not that there are like 3,000 players at the same time for the entire day, like Steam, for example. But much rather, it's pretty much the sum of the players playing for the entire day. And that could also mean that at the same time, there are maybe 10 or just 20 people online playing the game. So that's not a lot, obviously. Maybe it's probably not that low, but like maybe it's just 50 or something or 100. And that's honestly not a lot for a project that aspired to be much more than that. That it's planned to be very, very huge and big and had this huge team backing the project. And that's criticism that you hear very, very few from my side, since I usually try to stay back and have a very realistic view on everything. But at this current point in time, I do have to criticize that this hasn't really been done that well. And of course, another thing that hasn't changed, so you may just have a look into the video which I've recently released, which is called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly regarding Heroes and Empires. It's just that they don't really do any kind of marketing whatsoever. They've bet everything on this crypto project, pretty much changed the entire direction of their team. They used to make um, Play Store games, mobile games basically, which were heavily inspired by their popular counterparts. Like, for example, Heroes and Empires. Like, all these games pretty much have been inspired by other games, which is pretty obvious, right? Like they had some sort of Archer IO copy going on for them, and that's good. That's fine. It's all been done. Clash of Clans, honestly, is just a copy of another game as well. It's not really original either. However, um, when you do stuff like that, you really have to have a plan. And for this team, it did really feel like they had some sort of plan laid out. They had the right words for it, but they didn't exactly stick to it in terms of their own um, moves, basically, right? Like, for example, they made the game, they improved it, they really did. It's much better than it was in the past. However, all these things had to be either done in the first place at the very beginning, which of course wouldn't have been possible, so we can't really criticize them for that, or they would have needed to market the game more and better in the long run. Because right now, the economy itself is quite stable. The only problem is that no one's really playing, no one is investing, no one is building up their team, their base, or whatever. It's not happening because the people who used to play it lost their interest because maybe they lost a lot of money, maybe they got disappointed, maybe they got banned for having a different opinion on the Discord, maybe they were voting, whatever. Um, what's important is that they left the ship. And the Heroes and Empires team didn't really do much to get people back on the ship. They only ever relied on having people on the ship, like they were this great arc in the sea and the ocean, having thousands, tens of thousands of people being on there, but everyone has left, and now there's pretty much just a team and a couple players who stick to the game because they think it's fun and good play. But that's about it. You can see that there are not really people coming in on a daily basis, and you can see there's no real marketing done whatsoever. If that was done, I could actually see a vision and see, okay, there are more games since they are working on other games, Overspell and the sort, which is all cool and very nice, and I'd love to talk about it. However, if there's no one interested in it, then it doesn't really matter, right? Like, let's just say lame Axie Infinity as the perfect counterexample. Axie Infinity, they don't have the best gameplay, they don't have the best graphics, they don't have the best team, and they definitely don't have the best programmers and or tokenomics. Basically, Axie Infinity has not that much going for them in terms of their setup and their actual economic factor, basically, right? Like the economy is not stable at all. Nevertheless, the game is played by many people on a daily basis, and that's because they've had some sort of first mover advantage, and now everyone is knowing Axie Infinity. For Heroes and Empires, that's not the same. Nobody knows about Heroes and Empires, so now you have to be made into something that people know, and that's not done by just existing. Um, if you want to have it done by existing, you either have to be one of the first big projects, which for example was Axie Infinity in this case, where you could have made a lot of money. That's of course talked about by everyone, but being just another crypto project, just another metaverse project, in itself isn't enough to do the trick. You really need people talking about your project. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what things you've going for you. It doesn't all that matter that much unless you have a really amazing 10 out of 10 project for going for you. Like maybe the only thing I would counter it would be maybe Luvium, but that's already uh pretty much the border, the bottom border of the line. Like I'm talking about really amazing games that are so great, people just naturally talk about them without having mentioned any of the play to earn or what other perspectives of the game. Nothing. Just by having a game so amazing, people want to play it just for that. Heroes and Vampires doesn't fulfill any of these criteria, and so they have to follow different other marketing strategies. I've already mentioned a couple of those in the other video. They haven't really been following any of these, and that's a huge problem because as of things are right now, it's very likely they're going to be bleeding out at some point. They have a huge team. All of these guys need to be paid in order to continue developing the project. And for that to be done, they need people actively participating in the economy of the game. In order to have people participating in the game, they actually need people playing the game. And if there are no people playing the game, it's not going to happen. So either they try to squeeze as much money out of the remaining people that are still playing, or they try to get new people. So far, I haven't really seen any serious attempts in getting new people, and that's ultimately what could lead to the fall of Heroes and Empires. So, if they do all this, I don't know, maybe you have a different opinion, let me know in the comments. I'm very intrigued to see and hear about it. I'm very much interested in changing my opinion, but as of now, this is what it actually looks like, and it quite saddens me. However, I do feel like there's no real thing um changing that as of now. I do hope that new games will change everything up, but I feel if they release a new game, a different game, it's just going to be all the same. If nobody knows about it, no one's going to play it. They'll just have a couple hundred to a couple thousand players, and that's going to be it. We need the people who don't know about Heroes and Empires to get into it. That's just done by marketing. Anyway, that's my personal opinion on Heroes and Empires in the current state. Let me show you my staked HE. As always, I'm 100% transparent on everything. As you can see, I haven't sold a single HE ever since I've gotten into the project. And you can see my current staking rewards. I don't think I have enough BNB to restake on the account right now, but I can try. Let's see. 2,765, which I've currently earned as a staking reward. Let's see. Yeah, it worked. So, as you can see, we are very close to hitting 95,000 HE staked. It's currently worth $342, which is very little compared to what I purchased it for, but that's just how things develop. Anyway, that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your personal opinion in the comments, and goodbye.